great to have you all on board. It's another time with Idol. Is just simple. And in today's tutorial, it happens to be the continuation of the course INR 212, as we have it on the thumbnail. For those of us who are new to the stream, let's subscribe to the channel. Let's ensure to smash the like button. Do not forget to also turn on the notification bell so you don't get to miss out on any of our recent uploads. Now, in our last class, we talked about diplomacy, but the class was tentative. It was not conclusive. And like I explained earlier, when we were about to start this course, I made it known to all that we'll be discussing, all right, elucidating, juxtaposing, enumerating the term diplomacy at length. Why? Because this course itself speaks in volume about diplomacy. So please don't be surprised if you find out that Module 1, Module 2, Module 3, the last module still talks about or revolve around the term diplomacy. So now, we took, all right, an handful of different definitions of the term in our last class. So today, we're going to be taking our bearing from the origin of diplomacy. Origin of diplomacy. Speaking of the origin of diplomacy, it is as old as human, as old as human communities. Are we together? Diplomacy is as old as the existence of human community. And speaking of human community itself is as old as humans as well. Because we have the gathering of one or two persons socializing, a community is being formed. All right? That is to tell us that diplomacy has a long heritage, has a long relationship, all right, associated with the existence of mankind. Now, setting off emissaries to open negotiation as a common practice among primitive nations. So, diplomacy, as we have it today, was not practiced back then when it was newly. During the primitive nations back then, we have diplomacy being practiced using messengers. All right? These messengers, or as the word being used here, is actually emissaries. All right? They are being sent forth by primitive, I always say primitive. We are being particular, considering our contemporary age. All right? We talk about 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, people that existed then can be referred to as primitive because a whole lot of things have been improved upon and a whole lot of things have been newly introduced. So when we say primitive, we are simply referring to people that existed during this ancient time. All right? So basically, they sent emissaries to open negotiation. All right? So that was a practice all right, the use of emissaries to open negotiations. Are we together? The use of emissaries, all right, they were being sent to open negotiations. In many cases, reception and treatment were regulated by custom. These were the ancient time whereby everything is being done by the custom. All right, structures were properly done based on the custom. All right, based on the values the said nations hold there. By the 15th century, the principle and method of Greek city, all right, state have developed. So as time goes on, all right, we begin to see some changes, some development, and being intentional about the 15th century. All right. During this century, we have the principle and method of the Greek city-state. All right. 15th century, we have the Greek city-states. All right. These set of states, the Greek city-state happens to be one state that was popular. All right, this is one state that dominated. All right, this era, this century, and things were done way more better and advanced. And that's why we are making reference to this state. So at the Middle Age, all right, now as the Middle Age proceeded, the sovereignty of individual states, presentation of credentials began to be required if an ambassador wanted to receive, all right, if an ambassador wanted to be received by a sovereign power. So now, it's no longer just sending emissaries anymore, all right? During the Middle Age, that was after the 15th century though. So during the Middle Age, so it's no longer business as usual. Now, we now use ambassadors, all right? So that we have post-Middle Age. So now we have ambassadors. This was when the use of ambassadors was now the common thing to do. All right? So now, and with the use of these ambassadors, you don't just send them forth. There has to be an invitation from a sovereign power that this ambassador representing this nation should be allowed, all right, should be allowed to negotiate with the presupposed negotiators or negotiating party. So we now begin to see that there are now certain requirements, all right, certain standards you must follow before you do diplomacy. Are we together? So now, let's take a step further. In post-revolutionary Europe, acceptance of an established monarchical order gave a way to emphasize, all right, gave way to emphasis on liberty and individuals' rights. So, as time goes on, they will begin to see, all right, revolution. We begin to see evolutions, revolutions, new rules, new standards, new strategies, all right, and new statutes were being passed. So, the law has affected the way diplomacy is being practiced over the years. Now, it says here, By nature, negotiation must be confidential. It is the essence of diplomacy. Perspective of how things has changed. Alright? The fact still remains that when it comes to diplomacy, alright, it is intertwined with negotiation. And as far as negotiation is concerned, the diplomat or the negotiator must exercise confidence and present his argument precisely, correctly, without bias or ambiguity. Call it wrap here for today as we take it up from the nature of diplomacy. Alright, my next class. Do have a wonderful evening. I believe you'll be able to get something into next class. Please let's keep our notes up to date and submit them to the appropriate courses. Bye for now.